It's a Dota Weekly Show!
Yay!
Hey guys, welcome to the Dota Weekly Show, a show that tells you exactly what's been happening in the Dota universe for the past week. I'm Luminous, your host for the show, and let's get right into the news. The big piece of news for this week is that SMM is announced already. Now, if you're wondering why is it announced so early, because it's going to be held in December, well, the reason is that last year's SMM was announced so late that not many European teams were able to show up, and as a result, eHome took number 1, LGD took number 2, and Nirvana China took number 3. It was an entire Chinese dominance. So I think the admins of the SMM want to get more European teams show up, so they announced it so early. Now it's going to be in December 2nd to December 4th in Malaysia. Before we all jump in joy and just prepare for SMM, there's a lot of uncertainties in there. Right now there's not one Dota team that's just heavily dominating. CCM's doing relatively well in the Chinese scene, but in the European scene, MYM's doing pretty good, Navi's doing pretty well, G's.net's up there as well, but there's no one team that's just dominating. And in 6 months, competitive Dota could change a lot. And we don't know whether Dota 2 will be released by December of 2011. We don't know. So SMM 2011 may be very well the last big LAN in Dota 1 history. So we'll just have to wait and see, and I'm really looking forward to that. Now, the second big piece of news is that MYM has claimed the victory for the Farm for Fame finals, beating out some of the very best teams. They did beat SGC in the final. That's one more award up the list of MYM, beating out some very good teams such as DWS1 and Navi. So congratulations to MYM. I'm sure they're celebrating right now. And that concludes the major news for this week. If you want to read up more about the news I've talked about, or any other news in the Dota universe, do check out sggamer.com and gosugamer.net. Let's move on to the replay of the week, and this week's there were just some really good replay. If I have to single out one, I guess I have to recommend MYM versus SGC game number 2. And it's hard not to recommend a game that's 88 minutes in length. And my god, it was one of the longest games that we have seen in the 6.71b map. It's just really insane. The carries of the game is going to be a Morphling and Lesh versus an Anti-Mage and a Windrunner. So it's definitely not the most standard carries and semi-carries we're used to. And the matchup of the Morphling and Anti-Mage, you could definitely learn a lot from this game. There were just kills back and forth, and there were some very interesting item choices. Morphling went for a Diffusal Blade, which is generally very non-standard. And we also saw the weakness and also the strength of a Vlad's Anti-Mage. It's definitely very looked down upon in a lot of pub plays. But in this game, we kind of saw what Vlad's Anti-Mage can and cannot do. There's a commentary by myself and Sienna on DotaCommentaries.com, or if you prefer, go check out the replay on gosugamer.net. And that concludes the replay of the week, and now moving to the funny build of the week. This build is actually quite fun and actually quite effective to play, and I'm talking about the Huskar, 4-staff, Mecha, and Orchids build. Now, I never got to the Orchids because the game ended before then, but I tried this out in a DC in-house, and it's quite effective. Now, the boots of choice at 1 is actually Phase Boot, and my logic behind that was, well, I was thinking, well, you do have quite a bit of quarterstaff. You have 3 in the Orchids, and you have 1 in the 4-staff, so I was thinking I'm going to be fine in the attack speed. But in hindsight, I think if treads will be a lot better. You definitely want to get as much HP as possible because you're not going to get the standard Vanguard, or you're not going to get the Sangar Armlet. So more HP through the strength is not bad. Also, you could do some very crazy plays, such as switching treads to Int to cast the Mecha and then back to strength for more HP healed. Also, you could do the same with Inner Vitality. So that's, I believe treads is the good boots of choice. Now, the plus side of this build is that you're not going to die a lot in terms of being ganked, because you just have Inner Vitality, you have Mecha, and you're going to outrun basically everyone. So that's pretty cool. The plus side of that build is also people just don't expect Mecha. There's some nice 2v2 engagement in the jungle, and I was able to polish off people because I have Mecha, and people were just not expecting it. Now, in the team fight, you do suffer a little bit. You're not as tough as you usually are, but it's a pretty good build. I think it's fun and it's worth checking out. I think the disadvantage of this build is that you're making yourself a lot more single target than you already are. You don't kill people fast enough because you just lack the damage. The 4-staff's pretty good for chasing. The Orchids, which I never got to, I think would be good against some heroes, but definitely not an item that you want to get every game. So Mecha Huskar instead of Vanguard, I'm a big fan of that. Because it's it's not range Vanguard, so I like that a lot more. And there's a Force app in there, so I definitely try that build. It's definitely a very, very fun build. And this concludes the Dota Weekly Show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. There's some things I kind of want you to have feedback on. Now, the first thing, if you notice the name of the video, there's an asterisk. I kind of want to put a mark to tell you guys that I'm going to be spoiling overhead. In this game, of course, I spoiled the winner of Farm for Fame Finals, and I'm sure some people are a little bit pissed out of that as well. Secondly, I wanted you guys to check out the information box below, and this is what I'm going to do from all the weekly show from now on. Is that I'm going to tell you the result of every single game that's happened this week. So for some of you guys that just want to care about the result, who's winning and who's not, you could just check it out. And if you don't care about it, don't look at it. It's pretty well hidden, so you won't be spoiled. If you have any good suggestions of what I could improve on the show, do write them in the comments as well. And finally, if you want me to try a funny build again, or if you want me to answer some Q&A about some heroes that are not seen in the competitive scene, definitely post that in a comment, and I will definitely try my best to answer that in the next weekly as well. So again, hope you guys enjoyed the show. This is number 1. Hopefully many more to come. So that's it from me. Until next time, this is Luminous signing off. GG guys.